All right, everybody, welcome to Western Legends Stories. My name's AJ. Hi. Um, we are down in my painting studio today in the basement because I have a 1-year-old running around upstairs, so I can't play on the dining room table like I normally would. So I apologize. This is looking a bit cramped. Thankfully, episode one is just with the one board. I would not be able to fit any of the other episodes on here. Anyway, we are going to be doing a full playthrough of episode one, and I'm going to be doing a solo version. And in the solo, you will be playing against two other opponents. You could even add three, so it's a four-player game. It's really up to you. But I'm going to be showing off kind of how the automata work today. I'm going to be facing against Eleanor Owens, who is our purple player right here, and the man for justice, Bud Wango. Wago, sorry, Bud. And he is the yellow player here, and I am blue. My player board is over to the far left. Unfortunately, I can't quite capture it on the camera. I'm not a reviewer. I don't shoot videos very often or stuff like that. So I apologize. I don't have quite the best setup, but I think we've got the board and everything important here, and I'll be holding up cards as they come up so you can read along with stuff. You can also check stuff out in the Tabletop Simulator module. Spent a lot of time getting that ready. Still need to clean some stuff up. I'm not a TTS expert, but it's getting better and better each time. Anyway, so we're going to be playing through episode one today. Now, the cards do say episode two. I apologize for that. This is, well, this prototype is from Gen Con, and at the time, the tutorial was being called episode one, but we axed that because we didn't like the idea of a 20-minute tutorial being advertised as an episode. It would give off the wrong impression if you played through that and be like, that was it? That was an episode? No. Because the episodes are actually about an hour to 2 hours long. Heck, episode 5 can go to 2.5, even 3 hours, depending on the group. It's a long one. And then, then there's episode 6 for the endless sandbox mode. For if you just want something more similar to the original game. Anyway, we are coming into town. We are delivered into the Emerald Ridge area, riding on the back of Juan's wagon, who is this NPC up here. He starts on space 1. We're over in space 4 of Emerald Ridge. How do I know this? Well, one, I played this episode way too many times. Two, all of this is on these setup cards here. And this is how you're going to start each episode. You're going to draw the deck, and it's going to tell you how to do a setup. There is general setup information in the rulebook, just to kind of give you an idea. And I mean, it's what you'd expect as a board game player. You're going to set up your victory points or legendary point track up at the top with the different player colors. You're going to have your law track, get all your cards set up, make sure everybody has a little health tracker, a mini, and stuff like that. And for this episode, we are going to start off with $20 each, and that includes the AI or automata. The automata, for the most part, are treated just as normal players. So whenever something says like all players, it's referring to the automata as well, whenever things like that come up. We do need to treat them as if they're getting all the same rewards as us. Really, the only difference is sometimes they will just do stuff a little simplified, like drawing cards. And instead of drawing two, pick one, they'll just draw one card, stuff like that. But anyway, so we get $20 each and 3 poker cards, as written in the episode. Also, as written in the episode, you are going to place your players, space 4, Juan to space 1, and you are going to draw Juan's personality card. That comes from the personality deck. You're going to have, 41? 41? Yeah, 41 cards, and it says specifically personality 39. So whenever you're grabbing personality cards, you need to look at just the back and find the one that it says. You don't want to look at the fronts because you don't want to spoil some of the surprises that are going to be coming out as you explore certain characters' stories. Just keep them face down. No peeksies. Just wait until you interact with stuff. Make sure you do go over and interact with them before one of the other players goes and puts a bullet in the back of somebody's head because they don't like them or whatever. It's their storylines will change depending on what the players do, and sometimes the personalities. I'm saying personalities. It's NPCs, but we call them personalities in here. But yeah, sometimes their storylines won't fully unfold depending on the choices, or they'll go on in different directions. That's part of what makes stories so fantastic, is that there's so many different ways that stuff is going to unfold and play out in the games, and it makes going back and replaying the episodes a great option, just so you can experience some of the new things, different storylines that could have happened. Anyway, the next part of setting up the episode. So we've got our player pieces. For the Automata, I've got their decks. Each of the Automata characters will have the same deck back, and then they will also have a character card that kind of explains their own character rules. For example, Eleanor here, whenever she is fighting, because we're not going to use her poker cards to fight, she always uses a yellow die. Kind of looks orange on this card. It's going to be updated. But she always uses this and adds 3 to it. And hopefully you can see that on the camera. See, it's a yellow box with a white 3 in the middle. And you'll see that on various NPC cards because they usually fight through these dice. It'll have the die box itself, and then if it has a number, you add that to the final result. For Eleanor, if she gains wanted or martial points, she instead gains 2 legendary points. So she's never going to become wanted or martial. She kind of stays in between there. And when she has a choice, because sometimes you're given choices on various cards, scenarios and explorations primarily, she will always choose B. The scenarios are written with different options, or scenarios and explorations, so for different options, and the different automata will make different choices. Budwego, by chance, also uses B on these cards. It's usually A, B, or C. And there is a third character that I just don't have printed off with me, and he'll make separate choices as well. Bud is a bit more vicious. He rolls the red die, and the dice go in the order green, yellow, red, black. So he is going to have a higher average on his dice. And he adds 2 to that. And if he gains wanted, he instead gains 2 legendary points. So he can never become wanted. He can become martial. And it should be noted that whenever you gain a wanted or a martial point, you gain 2 legendary points as well, just as part of a skill token, or martial or wanted point. It's just a nice general rule. Whenever you gain one of the tokens, gain 2 legendary points as well. Stories really rewards you for going out and kind of crafting your own character, doing the different skill options. It's kind of like a real sandbox video game that you're rewarded with little points for just going off and doing various skills. Yeah, so that'll come into play later. Anyway, the days. So this is a big thing that a lot of people were confused about when I was first showing it at Essen, is setting up the days. So you're going to have the scenario cards indexed and separated by the different episodes. This is all of episode 1. And if they're in order, it's easy. If they're not, you can reorder it. Again, like lowest or smallest number on top, and it goes the highest because you're playing through the days in order. And then what we're looking for is all the days with the same number or set on the back. So to start off, I had day 1 to 5. So I was going through and grabbing all the cards that said days 1 to 5 on them, and that was 6 cards. And I just kind of grabbed them all, put them in a stack, or put them in a little stack. And then I'm going to separate them into 3 stacks because there are 3 stacks on the top left corner there. We say, or see, day 6 has 2 stacks. So whenever I'm setting up day 6, I will grab all of the day 6 cards and make 2 piles. But in this case, for days 1 to 5, I'm separating them. There's 6 cards, so it's 3 stacks, 2 cards each. Anyway, so that's good to go. Now I have my public objectives. So right now it is explore. So if I take an explore action, I automatically flip that over after the action is resolved, and we'll resolve what's on the back here. Move to space 6 of Emerald Ridge, which is right over here, far left, and move to a trading post. So if any of those actions happens on my turn, or any of the automata character's turn, we will flip that over and resolve it after resolving the action that triggered it. So you would move, finish that, flip over the card, as you'll see in just a minute. Anyway, So let's see, we've got the cards, got the scenario, the board is here. I've got the store set up. I am cheating a little bit. This store should be the trading post. We don't have a cardboard version of that one at the moment. So I'm just using the general store and just kind of using the first half. And 1 second. All right. We are, in fact, still recording. I had recorded a whole 10 minutes or so of stuff, and turns out that the camera, our camera had turned off partway through. Again, I don't do these recordings very often. Anyway, so we're going to open up. It's going to be a blue player's turn. I have the starting player marker over here. And first thing you can always do on your turn is move an NPC. NPCs can move up to their movement value, which is on the top right-hand card or right-hand side of their card. So Juan, for example, can move 3 spaces. Now, I'm leaving Juan out here for easy reference because I've got a little bit of room at the moment. But if you have it, there is a wonderful exploration notebook. And I know it says notebook. It's not actually like paper for you to write in. This is a kind of card holder so that you can put all your personalities, locations, and other things like that into play. Naturally, in addition to one, I should, because we have the general store out, that general store trading post, there is a difference. We should also have the forest out. I can do this one-handed. So we're going to go ahead. There we go. All right, we got the forest. We have unknown territory, which is going in this thing. And trading post. Okay, there we are. So what makes the exploration notebook so good is that it is going to hold all of these cards for you so that you can easily move stuff around the board and save it in between the missions. Because once something is unlocked on the board, it generally stays out in between scenarios. There are very few exceptions, burning down a building, for example. But the characters and, well, locations definitely, and most of the characters will come back. So you need to save them in between the episodes, and this makes it a lot easier. You could just set them off to the side if that works for your group, great. I just know I've had troubles in previous games. So I'm like, hey, I'm tired of asking for the cards that I can't read because they're on the other side. So this is nice and easy. Like hand somebody over and then boom, they've got all these locations and stuff that they can read through. So we're going to leave that off to the side, but that's all the people I've unlocked. Juan is basically an Uber. If I move him over to my space, I take the action for transport. I could pay him $10 and he and I will move 3 spaces in any direction. And that's great at the beginning because at the beginning of the game, before you have a mount, well, I guess not at the beginning, anytime you don't have a mount, your movement is only 1 space. So 1 immediately allows you to move across the board, which is fantastic. Unknown territory. So there are 2 of them on the opening board. It's wherever you see that little question mark. If you take an explore action there, you have to be on that space. You draw from the exploration deck and resolve whatever the card is. Those are kind of random one-off events. They're similar to the episode cards in that there's usually a choice or something going on. But with the exploration cards, you're going to flip them over and resolve whatever's on the back, usually making a choice between like 2 to 3 different options. There's the trading post right here in the middle, and I can go there and I can spend money for goods and services. If I have a weapon, I could rob it, hold up. Robbing works a bit different, or hold up in this case, works a bit different than robbing in the base game where you always had to fight a guard. This guy doesn't really have a guard to defend himself. So in this case, I just discard 2 cards, and I could immediately get a wanted point and take up to $40 worth of stuff from his place. And if I'm in a forest space, I could use a hunt action, flipping over animal cards, choosing one to hunt, and doing an NPC fight. Great for getting some resources at the beginning, stuff like that. It looks like I've... No. Okay. Well, anyway, those are the locations at the beginning of episode 1. And again, this will grow as you get more buildings and you'll have a lot more options. All right. So, like I said 5 minutes ago before I started rambling, I could move an NPC. And one is the only one at the very beginning. And you can move any NPC on the board. If there are bandits out, if there's a sheriff, whatever, your opening move is move an NPC if you want, up to their movement value. I'm going to leave one there actually, because I don't want to go to Space 6. I kind of want to run over to the trading post and get a gun. Right now, none of us have a gun. We can still fight, but we will take a -2 on any of our fight values. And that's going to be written on the new player boards. This prototype one that I have doesn't say that. It is written in the rules, but yeah, you take a -2 on any of your fights before you get any weapon. Just going up and trying to punch a guy and robbing him doesn't really work. So I'm going to use one of my 2 actions. So I've skipped the NPC phase. Now I have 2 action points. With my action points, I can move. I could use the action on a poker card. If I have a poker card that says action, which I do not, I have 2 bonuses and 1 reaction, which is indicated by the green for reaction and blue for bonus. That works just like it did in the original game. And that bonuses means that you play the card, and if it's played within a certain type of action, for example, reputation during your turn, if you earn 1 LP, you may play this card to gain an additional 1. So I'd be like, boom, bonus, extra LP, wallop. If I moved into somebody else's space, I could get rid of this and punch them in the face, causing them to either discard a card of 7 or higher or get a wound. Bulletproof, playing that in a fight. You know, I did that backwards. These are reaction, blue is reaction, green is bonus. I'm silly and I need more coffee or a Red Bull. Anyway, so bulletproof, if I were to play that in a fight as a bonus, I could avoid any wounds. And these are reactions, react to the action that you did. So anyway, I can even play an action card. I don't have that option. Again, I can move. I can interact with a location. I'm not in a space with a location. I'm just kind of off in a field. I could rest. Resting allows you to draw 2 cards and you'll keep 1. And these are the poker cards up here on the top right. I can hold up to 5. Just like in the base game, you discard at the end of your turn. So even if I got up to 7 cards and I can only hold 5, I won't discard till the end of my turn. Let's see, location, or I can fight with another player. And while I would love to assault my other players right at the get-go, I actually do have some good cards. It doesn't seem like my best move right off the bat, not until I get a weapon. So that's why I'm going to go to the trading post. So I'm going to use first action, get 1 of 2, to move. You can only move 1 space unless you get a mount that alters your value, or you pay 1. And now I've entered the trading post, or moved to a trading post. So I'm immediately going to take this, flip it over. I'm just going to read this off to you guys. You step into a large tent that serves as the trading post. The owner, Simon Goodnight, greets you with a wide grin, clearly delighted to see you. My supply may be limited, but it's top-notch, he assures you with a sweeping gesture that encompasses the shelves and the mounts waiting outside. As a savvy trader, he adds a warm welcome. For you, my dear friend, an extraordinary discount. After all, we must help each other out in the wild world. Gain $10. Yep. And you may immediately take an action at this location. Again, my actions are here to either purchase stuff using the cash, or if I had a weapon, I could hold up, robbing them. Any of the episode cards that you resolve, you will keep, because there is going to be a bonus to whoever has resolved the most at the end of the episode. So make sure you do keep those off to the side. I usually like turn them face down and slip them under my player board for later. Immediately take an action. I have a limited action at the beginning, and this is part of the setup. It said, hey, flip over these items in the trading post. So yeah, I'm going to pay $30, because I have 30 exactly, to get a revolver. Boom. So now, when I'm in a fight, I no longer take a -2 hit to my fight value. But more importantly, that opens up one of my favorite actions in episode 1. I'm now going to hold this up the store. Because why not? I've got cards I can get rid of that I'm not entirely attached to. And I can get my first wanted point, because I love playing wanted in these games. So second action, I'm going to discard 2 poker cards. I'm going to rob my good friend Simon, who just gave me $10, and take $40 worth of stuff from the store. Immediately following the location action, so you discard 2 to gain 1 wanted token, or wanted point. So I'm going to move myself on the law track. Boom. And that immediately gets me 2 legendary points. Every time you get a wanted point or a marshal point, gain 2 LP. And then an item of your choice up to $40. I'm going to take... I'm going to take the sieve. I don't like hunting as much, so I'm gonna go try and find some gold out there, and this makes it a bit easier with getting nuggets out of the bag. So anyway, that was first action was to move, which triggered a story event. Second action was to hold up the place with a gun that I just bought from my friend Simon using the money that he gave me. Anyway, end of turn. First, you're going to check for any end of turn rewards. And this comes from the law track. In this case, I have now made it on the law track on the wanted side. So I may draw a card, then immediately discard a card. Now that's great for filtering through your hand. And I drew a 2. And I can discard. I'm going to get rid of that 2, because why would I keep that over a wonderful jack that lets me fight? So that's my immediate thing. Next is you rest. Resting means draw 2 cards, keep 1. And again, this was one of the actions you could have done on your turn. So you can always get more cards on your turn if you're running a bit low. That's great for wanted players that are always being hunted by the law, such as myself. We always need more cards. So draw 2, keep 1. So just of these 2, I'm going to keep 1. And I'm going to choose Sprint. Shootout does have a higher value, which is nice, but I would like to be able to get away from the other players and explore. So I think Sprint is just a wonderful card to have in your hand. So yeah. And then if you had any end of turn resolutions, which sometimes comes up on cards, it's like, hey, end of turn, do this. This would now be the time. It's kind of a rare occurrence, but just something to be aware of. So then the next player is the active player. In this case, that's going to be Eleanor Owens. This is going to be our first time using the Automata. So first thing you always do with the Automata characters is flip over their card, which is going to determine their actions for the round. I'm going to move her poker cards underneath. They don't really use their poker cards as much, so I think sliding them underneath is helpful in this case, especially with a limited space. Knowing the number of cards is important. Anyway, so Eleanor, it says start of the round phase, move the nearest bandit away from her. Now, there are no bandits. What? Did we miss something in setup? No. This is one of the rare instances at the beginning of episode 1. You will have a couple turns without bandits. So in this case, the action can't happen, so it's just kind of a whiff. That'll sometimes happen with these NPC characters. Anyway, Automata characters. They have a sequence, and this is going to be on a card for you guys to easily reference. And you'll kind of know their sequence once you play enough. But I'm reading off a paper, and this will be in the rulebook thing as well. But the first things they do, so that, and this is action number 1, then 2, then 3, then they have 4 and 5 on their cards always. So it's always 1, 2, 3 on the reference card, Automata, reference that, and then 4 and 5 are on their whatever card you drew from the round. First thing is, do they have at least 3 wounds? No. So we'll ignore that one. Do they have at least $30? She does not. So we're going to ignore that. Does she have at least 5 poker cards? No. So we ignore that. I know. Exciting stuff. And you'll see these trigger off and on. Luckily, like they kind of solve their own issues. So you're not going to repeat them very often. Primarily, their actions will be on this card that you end up resolving. Anyway, so 1 through 3 were a whiff. So now we go to 4. If she is less than 3 spaces from a saloon, she gains, less than 3. She gains 3 cards, 1 LP, and she's going to go play poker. She's not going to do that in this case because there is no saloon. We have just a trading post. This is, again, beginning of episode 1. We haven't built anything. So number 5, she gains 1 poker card and 1 legendary point and moves to the forest closest to her and hunts. So we're going to pick her up. Closest forest is over here. So forest spaces are on kind of the vertice in between. So this forest space applies to both of these spaces. Same up here. It's kind of on that line. So this is going to be the closest forest. And then she hunts. So let's go ahead and resolve that. Now, hunting. This is our first action of hunting. Draw 2 animal cards and choose one of the 2 to fight. So let's see what dear Eleanor gets. So, she has some easy options here. So she has 2 green dice. So they're going to be fairly easy animals for her to hunt. The green die, I think, starts as low as 5, and its highest one is 10. So, and you'll know these values ahead of time. So the highest the beaver could ever be is 10, and the antelope is 12. So keep in mind. However, their rewards for fighting them also kind of show it goes up with the value. So like if you're ever fighting something with a black die, it'll have some really sweet stuff for you to get. So it rewards the brave. Anyway, she is... I apologize. I did the automata wrong. This is written in the rule. I'm doing hunt as if I were a normal player. Whenever an automata would actually be drawing cards, instead of picking, they just draw the top one. So I did her a little bit wrong there. I apologize. So she would have drawn the antelope. And the antelope is going to be rolling the die. Now, before she does that, we're going to find out her value. And again, Eleanor rolls a yellow die and adds 3. I can't really... No, I guess I'm going to reach the back of that. So Eleanor is going to be fighting with an 11. So the antelope does have a chance of winning this. Surprising. But the antelope is going to roll... Oh, the antelope only got a 5. Rolled a 3 and added 2. So it is unfortunate for you, little buddy. Eleanor is going to gain 1 legendary point from that. And she is also going to get bonuses as shown here under success. So there is a success and failure area. And in this case, she was successful. So she got the LP as shown there. That wasn't from the action itself. The LP was from the antelope. And then she gains 1 food. And we just kind of place that over on her player board area there. And Automata can later sell that stuff through certain actions. You're still going to give them all the resources and stuff as if they were a player. Anyway, so the antelope goes into a discard pile. I'm going to put it at the bottom, just face up. You should have a separate pile because animals that you encounter will be discarded in between the episodes so that you constantly run into new creatures as you play the game. And then if it ever completely empties out, you would take all the discarded ones and make a new deck. But we really want you to see new animals so they go away in between episodes. Okay, so we solved the hunt. Then she completes the story card on the right and earns the reward. So in this case, it's the far right, which is fortunate because that empties that pile, which means that that's the end of this section. day 1 to 5. We're immediately going to go to day 6 next. So we're not even going to see 4 of the 6 cards in this scenario, which helps with the replay value and encourages you to go out and do these as quickly as possible because you never know when they're going to go away. And hers was move to a forest. She completes it. You are surprised by a young man you hadn't heard approaching. After introducing himself, he offers you hunting advice, mentioning the best spots to track game. Then he presents you with a bow, explaining that it's the perfect weapon for not damaging your prey's hide. As you practice handling the bow, an animal appears nearby. Time to put your newfound knowledge to the test. Gain a bow, taken from the stall, and that will go on her weapon area and help her prevent negatives on her fighting. Read personality card number 38. So we're going to take our personality cards. Again, you want to keep them face down because you don't want to reveal stuff a little bit early. There's various cards for different personalities. Like old Joe has, 5 cards, stuff. You don't want to know, you don't want to spoil the surprise what's going on with him. And other characters. So we're going to add half pint here to the deck, our exploration notebook. And then half pints thing is, howdy there, friend. Name's William, though most folks call me Half Pint. Now, if you're hankering for some wild game, I'm your man. Got an eye like a hawk and can track a squirrel through a blizzard. Need a hand finding your quarry or even taking the shot? I'm your fella. If Half Pint is on your space when you hunt, flip over 1 additional animal card. So it'd be 3 cards usually, or with a normal hunt action. Going from 2 to 3. And you may also roll the yellow die instead of playing a poker card. Now, Eleanor never do that, just being an automata. Come on. There we go. All right, and we see that his movement value is 2. Again, we move NPCs at the start of our turn, so he would move up to 2 spaces. And we need a miniature for Half Pint. I've got a stack of minis over here. Who's going to be my Half Pint? It's going to be you. All right. So that is Half Pint. Now, Half Pint is another one that we actually do have a mini for that will match the art on the back of the card, which is fantastic. But I am using the old miniatures from the original release, so we're just making do right now. Anyway, so Eleanor resolves that and card on the right and earns some rewards. There are no additional rewards, just kind of Half Pint coming out. She did get a bow. And you may take a hunt action immediately. So actually, yeah, there's a nice little bonus for her. Again, Eleanor is just going to draw the top card instead of like going through 3. And she's going to find a beaver. Again, it's going to be a yellow versus a green die. So she's going to roll hers. And she got an 11. I forgot to do this last time, but Eleanor, last time she didn't have the bow. All of her fights would have been -2 to the total value. It's that way for everybody without a weapon. You take a -2 to your fight. Now she's at -1. However, she gets an extra hide for using the bow. So she's at 11 plus 3 from her NPC bonus as written on her card here. That puts her at 14 -1. She's at 13. This beaver has no chance. The green die just doesn't go that high. He's at a 7, so 13, 7. Eleanor clearly wins and gets the bonus, or the success, which in this case is a hide. Goes there. And because she is using the bow, it's a little rough because the weapons were missing when I sat down and play. This prototype is gone through a lot of hands and is now missing some stuff. So I printed off some weapons real quick. Apologize for the quality. But anyway, it's going to get another hide. Boom. All right. So now we've fully resolved her story card and all of the things on her action card into turn phase. She's not on the law track. She can't even be on the law track with her card. So she'll ignore that part. She would rest. Again, rest is draw 2, keep 1. NPCs just draw a card. And now she is at 5 cards. Cool. And that is the end of Eleanor's turn. Budwego, however you say your name. Move the bandit closest to him in his direction. Again, there's no bandit here, so we're going to skip that part. Action phase. Again, we go through it. Do they have wounds? No, nobody shot Bud yet. He doesn't have $30, so he's not going to go and try and buy some equipment. And he doesn't have 5 poker cards, so he's not going to go and try and challenge somebody in his area. So we're going to go to space or action number 4 for Bud. Number 4, if there is a cabaret. There's no cabaret yet. We haven't built that yet. So we're going to ignore that. And 5, he heals an injury and gains 2 legendary points. You can't see this symbol very well, but it shows 2 LP and then kind of a green arrow on the side and a red arrow. That is for you to adjust your difficulty. If you want an easier game, so the green arrow, you would lower this by 1. If you want a more difficult game, you raise it by 3. So you need to decide at the beginning, where am I setting the automata to? Do I want difficult, in which case they would gain more LP. Or less LP if I want an easier game. So you just need to decide at the beginning, make sure you constantly follow that. So you would heal a wound, gains 2 LP. He's yellow, right? Yep. I put Eleanor's thing. So he goes up to 2, and he draws a poker card. Boom. All right, back to me. Now, I think we took 5 minutes at least on their turns. Normally, the NPCs don't take that long, especially once you know what you're doing. It kind of becomes a bit more of a rhythm. And also looking around, I realized we cheated a little bit. Well, we didn't cheat, but we forgot to do something. One of the decks ran out. As soon as any of the decks run out, at the end of that round, you clear all the scenario cards, put them away. They would go back to the box, and you're going to take all the cards for the next day. So in this case, I'm going to find all of the day 6 cards, and you would shuffle them up, but there's no need when I'm just going to place 1 deck in each pile. Okay, and now I have my new objectives, and those are move to a space outside of Emerald Ridge. Emerald Ridge is everything within this thicker tan line. So moving out to the forest would trigger that, the Cold River or this forest up here. Because Emerald Ridge is just this lighter green field in the middle. Or if you take an action from a poker card. Either of those will trigger one of these story cards. We see that will also end the day because there's only 1 card in each of the decks. Anyway, beginning of my turn. I'm going to move 1 over to me. He has a movement value of 3, which we know from his personality card, top right. Boom, boom, boom. And now I can use his action, which is pay him $10 and move 3 spaces with him in any direction. Oh, dang, I don't have $10. Well, I'm glad you're with me, buddy. I guess I just moved you down there for no reason. I thought I had cash. I'm being silly. I don't have an action on a poker card I could do. I just have bulletproof, which is a bonus, and sprint, which is a reaction. So I'm going to move 1 space and then play my sprint card. So I'll put it up there in the discard pile, and it allows me to move 2 additional spaces. So I could go boom, boom. And now I'm up in the forest. I have finished the action. You may have, if you remember, moved to a space outside of Emerald Ridge. You may have thought it triggered here. I mean, that does trigger it, but I need to finish my action first. But I will take that. Still have bulletproof in hand, which is good because I know what's coming up. So now I'm going to take this and resolve it. While strolling near the lovely river, you came across an unoccupied campsite. Erected tents and an extinguished campfire indicate recent presence of the owners. Be cautious. They might return. Gain 2 cards. So boom, boom. Take 2 poker cards. Put them in my hand. Very needed. and place the Bandit Mini on an unoccupied space adjacent to yours. I've got the Bandit Mini right here. I'm going to place them right here. And place a Bandit card in the exploration notebook. So again, I'm going to take this story card. I'm going to slip it underneath my player board because we hang on to our cards. I'm going to take the top Bandit card. Similar to the weapons, I had to print these out last minute because they were also missing from the prototype when I got it back. It just happens. So I would take Magnus Eriksson, and he would go in the exploration notebook. I'm actually going to leave him out. I find the bandits, because they get changed out so often, it's not as convenient to put them in the exploration notebook. You do you. It's up to you and your group, but I like to have the bandits out. So Magnus Eriksson. Magnus is the youngest of the Eriksson siblings. While his brothers are outlaws, he is just a rebellious kid armed with a slingshot. If we get into combat, which happens if I enter his space, I would have to trigger. If he enters my space, not the website, but if he ever enters the same space as me, he will automatically start a fight, and that's indicated by this lightning thing at the top left corner. They enter your space, something happens. And we would fight, and he has the success and failure thing, just like the Animalist did. He just has a bit more text in his, because bandits are a little bit more complicated. But generally, whenever you defeat a bandit, they go away and a new one comes out. If you fail, you take your negatives, and usually there's something that happens, but they almost always will move to another space, or you will have to move to another space. Anyway, so that summoned him. So that was one action to move, and that triggered the bandit popping out. Now, this card still stays out here. You can only complete one episode card per turn. So even if I did play an action on a poker card, because I can do that now with savings or instinct, these are the two cards I got from the story thing, I still wouldn't draw that card. It's one per turn. You would just have to leave it there. Similar to in the original game, you can only do so many per turn. I'm on a forest space, but I'm also on a exploration space, and we haven't done that yet. So I could hunt, or I could do an exploration, or I can move, or play a poker card. You have a lot of options. I'm going to explore. Explore is simple. You just draw the top card off the exploration deck and resolve it. So here's my exploration card. Boom. At the sight of you, vultures take flight from a mass littering the ground. The putrid smell turns your stomach before you see what you should have avoided. Option A, search the corpse to gain $50. B, bury the corpse by discarding a card and gain 1 LP. Or C, walk away and just gain a card. I'm definitely going to search the corpse and gain $50. So you do get to look at all the options and make your option, or make your choice. This one was easy because I could really do any of these options. A lot of these are going to require you to discard cards or take a wound or something in order to usually get the best result, and you can't always do that. But yeah, this one was just a no-brainer. Of course I'm going to gain $50. I'm okay with being a loot or a grave robber. Already robbed a guy that gave me $10. Why wouldn't I do this? Anyway, expiration cards are discarded. Again, I'm just going to slide it face up at the bottom because I do not have room for discard piles here today. And that was my second action. End of turn. Again, first we'll look at the law track for any bonuses. I get to draw a card, and then I can discard a card from my hand. Oh yeah, I do like reputation. I feel like I don't need savings as much. Yeah, I'll get rid of savings. I've already got a good chunk of money thanks to that guy I found in the woods. Now I've got a Jack 10-9. I'm feeling pretty confident for a fight, which is good because of bandits right there. And then you're going to rest. So draw 2, keep 1. Ooh, a king. Well, yeah, I'm going to keep the king. And discarded the 5. I am now at 4 cards. I have a 5-card maximum, so I am good at the moment. So all these will stay in my hand. All right, now it's Eleanor's turn. Again, we flip over the top card for her. And I'm skipping it again. Why would you guys let me do that? This goes away. This one's simple. Day 7, there was only one day 7. The next one's 8 to 10. So day 7, and it's a 1 pile, as you might imagine. Move to space 4 of Emerald Ridge. So that'll be the trigger. All right. Eleanor, what are you doing? Move the Lawman NPC to the wanted player with the most LP. Well, I'm the wanted player with the most LP, so that's not nice. But there's no Lawman. We're just out here in the middle of nowhere. We don't even have a sheriff's office yet. There is no law, which is why I love robbing people in the first one, because there's no sheriff to stop me. Now, I say there's no sheriff, but arrests can still be made. Other players can still arrest you as long as they are not wanted and you have wanted points. So yeah, just like the base game, you just have to at least be neutral and you bring the law yourself. But there is no lawman, so thanks. Looking at Eleanor's stuff now. Let's go back to that list because one of these is going to trigger this time. Does she have at least 3 wounds? No, she does not. She is flawless at the moment. Money. Does she have at least $30? Nope, still just the 20 her parents gave her. Poker cards. Does she have at least 5 poker cards? Yes, she does. I'm sorry, I said one of these will trigger, but not quite. We were close. Have at least 5 poker cards, and a player in their region has more legendary points than it. Well, 1, Eleanor is the only player in her region. 2, she is tied for the most. So, sorry, I thought that was going to trigger. I forgot we are in different sides of the board, so it doesn't quite trigger. But that is something. The NPCs will be a constant threat. If you have more LP, they can win the scenarios easily because they are always going to be on you, and they auto-complete cards and get LP all the time. So you got to constantly compete with them. I know you're going to say they're cheaters. They didn't go and get LP like I did by rustling cattle or playing poker. It's handed to them sometimes on cards. But these little trust fund babies, they get the LP to stay competitive. Anyway, so we're going to go on to option number 4. If less than 3 spaces away from an unknown location, she is actually on an unknown location. She gains 1 skill token, then moves to the nearest one and explore. So we get to just give her a random skill token. Doesn't matter. So I'm just going to give her a builder 1. With all skill tokens, you gain 2 LP. So Eleanor has once again boop, boop, claimed more. Sorry, I was looking at her for yellow. We actually did have more LP than her, but she wasn't in the same spaces or region as me, so avoided that fight anyway. But now she's at the lead. She got 2 from that, and then she's going to move to the nearest unknown location and explore. So we're going to draw this. As you approach, you hear a scream in the distance. When you get closer, you see a man holding his leg and screaming in pain. Next to him, a handcuffed man says to you, "I did nothing." It's God punishing him for arresting me. He got bitten by a snake. Untie me and let God do his work. Then we have 3 options. However, we know from Eleanor's card that she will always choose option B and resolve it. So in this case, do not listen to him and give a healing item, resource, food or whiskey, or discard a card, a kit to suck out the venom and gain a marshal point. So she's going to discard a card, bring her down to 4. She would gain a marshal point, but again, her card says she cannot gain those and instead gains 2 LP, giving her a comfortable lead at 5 to buttonize 2 LP, which I'm not a fan of. But anyway, card goes at the bottom. It's been resolved, and that's it for her. She did the exploration. That's all number 4. Again, we don't go all the way to 5. It's just the first one you can resolve, you do that. Budwego. All right. Move the bandit closest to him in his direction. There's only 1 bandit. Thank you, bud. I appreciate it. Now, how far does he move the bandit? Again, it's an NPC. So we look at the top of the NPC, top right of the card. In this case, it's 1. Again, I apologize for the washed out coloration of the card. So it's just going to move 1. Look at that. And the bandit's speed will vary. So that's important to keep in mind. Like Juan, he's locked in. He's always going to be 3. Half pint, always going to be 2. But just keep an eye on their cards, bandits especially, and that's why I like to have them out, because they also change out so quickly. But anyway, we move the bandit. Let's go through Bud's stuff. Is he wounded? No. Does he have $30? No. Does he have 5 poker cards? No. Cool. We go on number 4. If there is an under construction location, there's not. We haven't encountered that just yet. So we're going to skip that one. 5. He heals 1 wound and gains 1 card. He has a lot of healing stuff. At least we've drawn that. Now, he does have 5 cards, so I need to keep an eye on this guy. It moves to the nearest unknown location to explore. Okay, I guess he was just inspired by Eleanor. Then completes the story card on the left and wins the rewards. Oh, so he's going to do even more than her. Well, let's do this one piece at a time. Exploration. Flip it over. You come across a scared native child at a road junction. Clearly lost, the child timidly approaches you and pleads for help to find their tribe. Again, there's options for A and B. Bud is always going to do option B. Offer them your mount and show them the way to get back before nightfall. Gain 4 legendary points. All right. He gains 4 legendary points. Oh, he's yellow. Putting him up to 6. Wow. You got really lucky with that one. All right. And then he is going to complete the far left card. There's only one. So we're going to flip that. And he gains all rewards, and we resolve this and put it underneath his board. This will be his first story card, so good job, bud. Perched atop a pile of wood, a towering man speaks up. I'm Festus Brown. I arrived here with my friend Simon Goodnight, the proprietor of the trading post. I'm going to build a saloon here. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Gain 1 card. This now puts Bud up to 6. So he's going to have to discard down. Place the under construction saloon tile on your space. Under construction saloon tile. There it is. So these normally have a backside so that you flip it over and there's a construction side, then or under construction, then a construction. 2, he's supposed to be in space 4, and this is actually written in their rule book, that the saloon tile still goes to that space. We're actually updating some of the cards to make that more clear, that the saloon is not just going to be built over here in the middle of the woods just because he triggered it through his automata shenanigans. But yeah, it's going to be on space 4, so that is right here, and it's under construction. And we have our first under construction card. Construction site. To understand how construction sites work, please read the additional rule card, construction site. We actually have this as a location. Don't we? Here we are. This adds a new action to the game. All right. So, construction sites. Pretty simple. Discard 2 cards to gain a builder token, builder skill token, which again gives you 2 LP, as all skill tokens do, and $20. They pay you for your labor. This would go into our exploration notebook. The updated or final version of the exploration notebook is actually going to have a section for automata, not automata, personalities, so that you put all of them in one place, locations for another section, so it's easier to get through this all. But right now I'm just kind of adding them in as I get them. But yeah, construction, that is an action. For those who've been watching very carefully, you'll always see red with white writing is an action. That's just, see it on the back of cards, you'll see it on the poker cards, everywhere. Whenever it's that red text with a white or a red splash of art with white text over it, that means that it is an action. Oh, sorry, part of your rewards, bud. Mr. Brown is starting a construction site. You can immediately help him by discarding 2 to gain a builder token. But it's just gaining rewards. He's not doing actions as part of his thing, so he's going to ignore that. Then completes the story card on the left and wins the rewards. Yep. So this goes under his player board. End of round for him. He's not on the law track, so he ignores that, doesn't get any bonuses. He has more than 5 cards, which is all he's allowed to have. So you discard one at random. So we're just going to shuffle these up and throw one over there. We got a savings from him. Now he is at 5, so he is good to go. If he had more than 5, we would still keep discarding at random. We're back over to me finally. All right. Oh, and we set up the day. You guys let me forget again. All right, so we're going to grab all the ones with the same thing at the top, which is 4 cards, all saying day 8 to 10. All right, so we're going to shuffle these up. And we see that it's 2 piles, so I'm just going to split them up there, 2 and 2. And our new things are either to hunt or build. So if you take either of those actions, you'll resolve one of the cards. Beginning of my turn, I can move an NPC. I'm happy where I'm at. I kind of don't want to get in the middle of what they got going on. So I'm going to move an NPC, and I'm going to move the bandit, who again moves 1 space. I'm going to get him even closer to those hooligans over there. He only moves 1 space, so he's just kind of hanging out adjacent to him. But he's further away from me, and that's what's important. So that's my beginning of turn move an NPC phase. Now I'm into my action phase, 2 action points. I'm going to choose to hunt because I'm probably going to get some bonus from that. For a standard hunt action, it's draw 2 and choose one of them to face because I don't have Half Pint next to me. I could have started moving Half Pint closer, but yeah, I wasn't going to encounter it. All right, here we are. Some real danger for the first time. We got the beaver again, which is easy, but barely any rewards. Then there's the wolf. The wolf has a thing before you even fight it that you must discard a card of value 10 or higher or suffer a wound. So if you're unable to or choose not to, suffer a wound. His fight is a red +1. Looking at the red die, I see that it goes from 9 all the way up to 13. So I could be facing a 14 at the worst, which is a value of an ace, essentially. I've got my revolver, which means I don't take negatives to the fight, but the highest I could do is a 13, assuming I want to get rid of my king. The king also has the ability, if I don't want to use it for this nonsense, consult the story cards whose triggers are visible, choose one, and gain the rewards indicated on the back. If the card indicated a location, move to it. And that's what's actually going to happen with the Automata, they move to that location as part of resolving the story effect. So again, no saloons out in the woods, as cool as that would be. You know what? Let's fight the wolf. Why not? Nobody's out here stabbing me at the moment, so I'm comfortable using this. So I'm going to play the 13. Oh, and I should have gotten rid of the beaver. Slip him back in there. Oh, and I need to discard a card. Value 10 or higher. Ooh. You know, this may have not been worth it. All right, I'll get rid of the reputation. That's discarded. And I should have done that first, sorry. So I discarded 10. Now he rolls a 1. You always choose your card first. And go ahead and play it face up. I don't know why every time I was teaching the game, people played it face down. A die cannot read your card. It doesn't matter. But so I play it face up. It's a 13. And I'm going to roll the red die and play an 11 plus 1. It's at 12. 13. I win. If there's a tie, excellent question, voice in my head. The attacker wins ties. So as a hunt action, I would win any ties. Bandits, though, whenever they move into your space, they usually have the priority, which is not fun. So keep that in mind when you're fighting NPCs. So I win. I'm going to get all the rewards at the bottom here. This is why I wanted to do this. There's some sweet stuff here. I get a hunting skill token, one of those. Place it on my board. And what do we do when we get a skill token? That's right, we gain 2 LP. I gain another LP just from the successes here, and I gain 1 hide. Hides can be sold at a general store for $20. It's in the action on the card. Then this goes away. And again, be discarded. I'm playing it face up here. Now I'm going to take the hunt one, flip it over, and read it. Oh, actually, real quick, because we did trigger this, I gained a hunt skill token. There are skill cards hiding over here. Here we are. You gain these whenever you have the amount of tokens as shown on the card, assuming nobody else has them. Most of them are 3. It's like Miner, you have to have 3, Reveler, Builder, so on and so forth. Hunter, though, only requires 1. So this is one of the easiest ones to get. So I'm going to take this. It's worth 1 LP at the end of the round, which is great. But it gives me an action or a bonus on future hunts. And what it says is when you hunt, draw 1 additional animal card. So just like what Halfbind did. And once per turn, when you earn a hunter token, gain 1 LP. So every time I gain a hunter token, I'm now gaining 3 LP. Because 2 from the token, 1 from this card, as long as I have this. The skill token or skill cards can move around. It's whenever somebody gains more tokens than whoever currently has the card. So I have it, and I have 1 token. If somebody gained 2, it would go to them, assuming that I was still at 1. And that's just going to go over here. These aren't items. They just go next to your player board. They're not going to take up one of your valuable item slots. I don't know where I was putting these. I'll just go over there for now. So I gained that. Now we resolve this. Stack and stop. It's like I'm playing Magic. This splendid pine forest is home to a rich variety of flora and fauna. It's impossible for you not to take advantage of it. Sparing no effort, your dedication eventually pays off. Gain 1 hunting token. So cool. In addition to the hunt rewards. Yeah. It's referring to the hunt rewards for just doing the action. So I gain another hunt token. Lovely. And that is 2 LP, putting me ahead of these annoying automata that I have been losing to. All right. As always, I'm going to keep my reward or a scenario card. Tuck that off to the side. I've now got 3 to Eleanor's 1 and Bud's 1, so I am doing good there. That was only one of my 2 actions. I know you don't believe that because that was a lot of stuff happening there. Let us... Yeah. Let's just hang out here and do an exploration. All right. A breathless woman throws herself into your arms and begs you to protect her from a bandit who is chasing her. I don't know why I paused there. Move the bandit closer to your space. Just moved him. All right. He's moving 1 towards me. Again, movement is in the top right. All right. I'm not an automata, so I can actually choose between different things. We have A. Discard a card to rob her. Gain 1 to point, $30, then face the incoming bandit. B, tell her to stay behind you, then confront the incoming bandit, regardless of the outcome of the fight, gain 1 LP, and push her away and perform a move action immediately. I love the idea of just pushing her to the side and making her run for it. So, then face the incoming bandit. So in this case, I would have to fight the bandit, discard. I'm going to rob her. I mean, I'm already on the wanted track and I want more bonuses. So I'm going to discard a card. Instinct. Yes. Instinct. If you discard this card, except during your phase, draw another card. So I discard it, meeting the requirement, and then I draw a new one. Love you, Instinct. Again, wanted point, which also gets me 2 LP. And now I just flat out draw a card at the end of each of my turns. I gain $30. I am doing fine on money, just hanging out here in the woods. I'm loving it. And then face the incoming bandit. So in this case, the story triggers the bandit on my space. Don't worry, that text is being cleaned up for this so that like when a fight needs automatically trigger. Because the first round of stuff was kind of written more thematically. because that's very much how Hervé thinks, is in a very thematic sense. And it's really what made stories excellent. But we do need clarification on stuff. That's kind of what I've been cleaning up. So anyway, I'm now going to fight the bandit. In this case, it is going to be, come here, Magnus Eriksson. That's right, we saw him earlier. And I was comfortable with this because Magnus is kind of a pushover. I mean, he rolls a green die. Success, I gained an LP. Failure, which if you fail to a green die, you deserve it. But it's a wound and you lose an LP. So again, we know what die he's going to roll. I know what it could be. It could be as low as a 3 plus 1, so a 4, and go all the way up to a 10, so an 11. So, and in this case, he's attacking me. It's one of the few instances of, the fight's starting on my turn. But he's moving into my space and starting it. I'm going to play the bulletproof, the 11. So as long as he doesn't roll the 10, I'm fine. And the bulletproof prevents any wounds, which is lovely. So most I can just lose an LP. And that's a 7 plus 1, so he's at 8 versus my 11. I have 1. That's another LP. This has been an amazing turn. Now, fighting a bandit was successful. Past games, fighting a bandit being successful, you could get a marshal point. That's not the case here. As just like all the cards, animals and stuff, it has to be written on the card, gain a marshal point or gain a wanted point, stuff like that. That's no longer inherent just from the actions themselves. It has to actually say it on the card. But anyway, success, 1 LP. Then replace this card with the new one and place the figure on another bandit space. So there are little bandit camps on the map. It might be hard to see on the camera. We have three options, just these 3 spaces. So I'm going to move him down there and draw a new bandit from my lovely last-minute printed deck. Oh boy, this guy's much, much nastier, and I'm glad I moved him away, because this guy has a red die, Beto Vasquez, which is one of the stretch goal characters, if I'm not mistaken, that we recently got. And this guy's going to take your gold. Beto left his country, or Beto? I'm not sure. Let's go with Beto. Beto left his country for a good reason, to find gold. No matter what means he has to use. So this guy is going to try and rob you for gold. You can get pretty nasty fast because gold's worth good money. Get you some bonuses. Anyway, that was my turn. I hunted, which triggered a story card, and then I did an exploration, which triggered a bandit fight. Long turn for me. All right, we are on to Eleanor. Oh, no, we're not. We got to do my end of turn phase. First thing is I just flat out draw a card. No longer have to discard one, which is good. Counter attack. Love it. And then I still rest. So draw 2, keep 1. I'm keeping the ace, obviously, and discard the sprint, as much as I do love my sprints. Now we're on to you, Eleanor. All right, start of round phase. Push the closest bandit away from the marshal player with the most LP. We don't have a marshal player, so again, it whiffs. I know we've had a lot of Automata whiffs, stuff not happening at their round phase. That's because they're designed for full game, like you're going to use them in all the scenarios. And a lot of the stuff we're seeing just isn't quite set up because this is episode 1, which really just sets up a lot of the game. So we are having some misses here, and that's fine. This stuff's going to trigger pretty much all the time later on. And with a space this small, you don't really need them triggering every round right now. Anyway, Eleanor, so that doesn't do anything. Let's go through the list. Does she have 3 wounds? She does not. Does she have $30? She does not. She does have 5 poker cards. And she is in a region with a player. It's an Automata player that has more LP than her, because she is the purple player and she is at 5 to Bud's 6. So my Automata are both going to fight each other, which is honestly hilarious. Especially since Bud uses a red die and she uses yellow. She does get a +3 though, which is nice, and she has a bow, meaning that she only takes a -1 on her fights. This is written on the card, and Bud is still fisticuffs, so he takes a -2 on his fight. So he's really just rolling a red and not getting a bonus, and she's rolling a yellow and only getting a +2. So let's just roll them both at the same time. I'm loving this. All right, so she is at 8 +2, so she's at 10. Bud is at just a flat 11 because it's +2 -2. So Bud wins. So good job, Bud. This would have been a normal duel. Yeah. Double check. She's not going. Yeah, she challenges them in a duel, so it's normal duel rules. If she had won, she would have gotten a dual token, skill token, which is one of these. Your fight options are rob, which you take their stuff, you gain a 1 point, which is lovely. Arrest, you throw a wanted player in jail, martial point, lovely. Or duel, which gets you the 2 LP in the dual token, and also eventually the gunslinger skill. So duel is again, all of them give you 2 LP when successful, in addition to any other bonuses. But getting those, by doing the duel, you have a way of getting the skill token. And that skill token is nasty. I want to show you real quick. Gunslinger. If the card you play in a fight is spades or clubs, increase your fight value by 1. And that comes in clutch and fights later on. And encourages you to kind of like work on your hand getting the black cards, which is nice. Anyway, Bud survived. He's not going to take any wounds or anything. He doesn't get the gunslinger token, but he does prevent her. She takes a wound. Boop. There we are. And she doesn't get her any of her bonuses. She kind of wasted her turn. And that's all for her. Yeah, let's just challenge them to a duel. Oh, and I'm sorry. She also gains 1 LP and then move to their space to challenge them. I did that a little bit wrong. Sorry, I haven't done the duels thing in so long. But yeah, so she still gained an LP from the action itself, and she would have gotten more from the duel if she had won, but she didn't. That was her one action. She didn't even get to do anything on her card, which is a little sad. End of turn. She's not on the lot track. No bonuses there. For rest, she just draws. She's at 6 cards, so she needs to discard down to 4 because she has a wound, so she's down to holding only 4 cards at most. 1, 2, 3, 4. She only had 4 cards when I triggered that. I did that wrong. Well, we're not going to go back. Let's pretend that she had 5 cards and I'm just an idiot. Well, we don't have to pretend that. Anyway, she's going to go down to 4 cards. Flip that up. She lost the 9. I'm so sorry, Eleanor. Now it's Bud's turn. Start a round phase. Move the bandit closest to him in his direction. Whoop. Let's go through Bud's stuff. Does he have 3 or more wounds? No. Does he have $30? No. Does he have 5 poker cards? Yes. Does he have a player in his region with more LP than him, though? 2, 3, 4, 5. See, now I'm double checking the cards. I don't know why. I thought Eleanor still had 5. She had to discard for a thing. That's why. But yeah, he has 5, but nobody in his region with more LP than him. So he ignores that. He's not going to do the duel. If there is a cabaret and he has at least $60, there's no cabaret yet. Last, he gains 1 skill token, then completes the story card on the left and gains the reward. You can choose any of the skill tokens. This is being cleaned up to specify the skill on the future ones. They're actually going to compete for certain ones. Because just choosing a skill token, there's some decisions there. This is, again, was an early version of the Automata from August. He gains 1 skill token, which is 2 LP for yellow. Make sure I move the right color. And completes the one on the left and gains rewards. So that's build. Yeah. I drew a card. Right? Yeah. Okay. 2, 3. Yeah. Sorry, I was blanking in my mind. I'm like I thought that was the one that we just resolved for him, but that was actually like 2 rounds ago. Sorry for the silence. Anyway, carrying a massive wooden beam, Mr. Brown, with a smile on his lips, addresses you. Thank you for your help, he exclaims warmly as he gazes at the progress made on the building. Thanks to you, my dream is becoming more of a reality, and I can't wait to open the doors. Gain 1 LP. Um, yeah, goes up 1. Normally, this is triggered by the build, so there would have been a token on there. Didn't trigger in this case, or we don't put the token in this case because it was an automata thing. So there can still be 2 spaces put on there. Again, normally the saloon has a 2 space thing on it for you to place little tokens, and whenever it reaches the second space, it would be complete. Most of them are 2 spaces. There are a couple with only 1 and 1 with infinite. There's just different buildings out there with different stuff. Anyway, so yeah, that was Bud. He resolved the story card, gained the bonus of the LP. We still have decks with cards in them, so these aren't going away just yet. It's the first time I think we've made it all the way through without one of the decks getting emptied out. We are back over to my turn. I can move an NPC. I'm going to move the bandit over here and trigger a fight. As the active player, I get to choose, since I have multiple targets, I could choose who he's going to fight. Now I'm going to have the bandit fight Bud. Think he's the best choice to fight Bud. There's a red, and Eleanor already has a wound. So I want to beat up on this guy a little bit. Don't like that he has so many cards. So yeah, him and Bud are going to fight. Bud is going to roll a red. Again, Bud normally would add +2, but he has no weapon, so it's really just the red die, whatever the value is. No bonuses. So we're going to roll for Bud. He has an 11. And Beto Vasquez also has a red die. No bonuses. And he rolled a 10. Beto, I trusted you, buddy. So in this case, Bud is successful, and I just gave him free stuff. He gets 1 LP as his reward. He's going to gain 3 nuggets. Come out of the bag. Okay. Or a marshal plate. With the automata, you just choose the first actions. And replace this card with another one. Oh, my goodness. Clark Benson. Look at that, a red +3. That's real nasty. This sharpshooter has quite a reputation in the region, and he likes to keep a memento of his successes. Yeah, if you fail or lose to him, you're actually going to lose some of your items. So that's him stealing from you. So it's quite a nasty character. I'm the active player, so I'm going to choose where the bandit goes. I'm going to again place them down there. Because I do not want Clark near me, that's for sure. Okay, that was the start of my turn, sending a bandit off to do my fights for me. So our things, we could fight a player or move to space 6 of Emerald Ridge. Ooh, kind of wish I had moved Juan up towards me, but I was just too focused on moving that bandit around. Let's go on ahead. Yeah, let's progress the story along. I'll move and then move again. I didn't get a sprint at any point, did I? Yeah, still missing my sprint. All right, move again. That triggers space 6 of Emerald Ridge. A rustic-looking fellow approaches you. Not mad about making it here alive. I dodged the worst of it. There was a bandit in the area. I decided to spend my twilight years panning the river or sitting down a saloon table. If you have any gear to help me settle in, I'll trade you my old mule Rita. You may discard 2 cards, or you may discard an item or discard 2 poker cards to gain secret card number 1. Move the bandit mini 1 space in your direction. Oh, crap. All right, I'm going to get rid of an item. I'll get rid of my sieve because it was pretty cheap, considering I stole it, to get secret card number 1, which was already hinted at, but that was Rita. So this is nice because it's going to help me with my movement in the future. Rita, you may use 1 additional item slot on your player board and cannot be stolen from you. So mounts go in the mount board. I'm going to show you on Eleanor's space. There is a space just for mounts right here. You can only have 1 active mount at a time, just like in the base game. You can stack them if you need multiples. And Rita cannot be stolen from you, which is good because I have somebody about to try and rob me. So yeah, she's going to go into my mount space. The additional item slot. So we have 3 item slots that you'll automatically have, and then you have 2 at the bottom that are unlocked primarily through mounts, or there are some items that also allow you to unlock additional item slots. You'll unlock those as you continue playing the game and see the different options. And the nice thing is some mounts can even help save the items in between games because you don't get to save everything on your player board. But yeah, so Rita does allow me to hold up to 4. Not too important to me right now. I'm more interested in that extra movement value. And the bandit is going to move a space closer to me. He has movement value 1, doesn't matter, I was only 1 space away. So now I am fighting a guy, the red 3. So again, he can go all the way up to a 16 at the highest, higher than even an ace, which really sucks for me. You can get bonuses through your items, like you can get the holster, which allows you to discard for bonuses. They're not available right now because we just have a guy in a tent out in the middle of the woods just selling basic stuff. I'm just lucky I don't have a negative. All right, so I'm not looking forward to this fight. I do have a 14. So I don't have really any way of getting much higher. I guess, do I play the 14 and hope that he gets, what's the lowest he can get? He can get a 9 plus 3, so he can get a 12. So I could beat him if he rolls low. But most of the stuff on here, especially since he's the initiator, will beat me. In fact, it looks like I only have 2 spaces on this die that I could win. So I'm not going to give away my ace. I'm just going to accept defeat, really. Yeah. I'm going to, put up a 5. Means he's definitely going to win. I mean, it's a 12 versus 5. He wins. I'm looking at the failure side, so I gain a wound. Then the nasty part is, and lose 2 items of your choice. This is where it really hurts. I don't have any basic items. I do have a weapon, though. So he takes my revolvers. Now I'm taking a -2 on future fights. I've got to go back and buy another revolver from the guy I robbed. He would try and take a second item, but there is no second one because Rita cannot be stolen. Well, it does say 2. We need to clarify some of the language on that. Yeah. It's a good question. But these can't go away once you have them, so Ryan needs to say cannot lose or have this stolen from you. You may move it to the nearest unoccupied space. So I get to move Clark Benson to the nearest unoccupied space. I'm going to move him over here. I want him to go fight those guys. Him and the other NPC aren't really going to do anything to each other. And this stays. Clark hangs around. Doesn't say to get rid of him. That's usually just with the defeat. So I've taken a wound. I can only hold 4 cards. This goes away. End of turn. Draw a card. Ooh, another ace. Double aces. I'm loving that. And then my rest, draw 2, keep 1. A third ace, thank you very much. Okay, I might go and track down that Clark guy, beat him up. I'm still beneath my card limit. Well, I'm at my card limit 4, so I'm good though. So no need to discard. Nothing else for end of turn. I did take or complete this, and one of the piles is empty, so these cards go away. Day 11, there's just the one, because this is multiple days. Day 11, one pile. Action at a trading post. It's nice, I'm heading that way anyway. But right now it's Eleanor's turn. All right. Eleanor, start of round phase. Move the Black Bandit or the gray one if there is none. I'm sorry, should be using. So you can have up to 2 bandits in the game. But I should have put the black ring on them. Move the Black Bandit towards the player closest to the bandit. Oh, Eleanor. All right. I gotta fight Clark again. This is not fun. Luckily, I just drew 2 aces. So you know what? I'm coming for you this time, Clark. I'm going to play the ace. 13. He's at 16. Crap. Oh, and I have a -2 on my fights. So that goes away. I should have just declined the fight. So I actually did a non-pro gamer move, a noob move earlier. I knew I was going to lose the fight, and I still played the 5 anyway. Whenever you're in a fight, you could just decline the fight and just automatically take all the failures. But you get to keep your poker card. I actually just did a stupid move twice. I got rid of an ace that I could have kept. I should have just let Clark come and shoot me. Again, he can't steal my mule. You're not getting Rita. And I move him to the nearest unoccupied space. Push him away again. Thank you again for that nonsense, Eleanor. But I guess I deserve it. I've been high up on the leaderboard for a while. Okay. Let's check Eleanor's stuff. Does she have 3 wounds? No. Does she have $30? No. Does she have 5 poker cards? Let's double check this time. Excuse me, 4. Really, she's not going to be able to trigger that for a while because she has a wound. So she's going to be at 4 pretty much every time. Once you know that stuff, you can kind of run through the stuff a lot faster. If she can buy a sieve, she does so and gains 2 LP, then goes to the nearest mine and draws 4 stones. She can buy a sieve. She's got $20. And the sieve is $20. So we discard that and put the sieve on her thing. And I apologize, there's actually supposed to be gold deposit, or X is a mine. Space 7? Where's the setup card? I missed something at the beginning. I apologize, folks. I was getting everything ready in a little bit of a rush. Space 3. Space 3 in the Cold River region, so it's up here. Boom, 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 boom. So she moves up there and gains 2 LP. Boom, boom. Then draws 4 stones. Then shuffle Eleanor's card deck and reform her stack. So she draws 4 stones. So when you're mining, goes to the nearest mine and draws 4 stones. She gets to keep the 2 golds. Oh, I drew 5. But yeah, I'll just say it was 2 and 2. So she gets to keep 2 gold nuggets and reform her stack. So we're going to take these, shuffle them back up, and Eleanor's deck is rebuilt. Okay. End of turn. She's got to draw a card and then discard a card because she has a wound. She lost the 10. She's at 4. She's good. Bud, please get the bandit away from me. Move the bandit furthest from him in his direction. Only one bandit. One space towards him. Thank you. I wanted that guy away from me. Let's go through Bud's stuff. Does he have 3 wounds? No. Does he have $30? No. He does have 5 poker cards. There's no other players in his region, though. And, I mean, he's tied for first place, so that wouldn't trigger anyway. So number 4, if he is less than 3 squares from a wanted player. 1, 2, 3. Crap. Another fight. He gains 1 LP. He's now in the lead. Then moves to that player's square to punch them. The opponent must discard a card of 7 or higher to avoid injury. Otherwise, he gains, Bud gains 1 LP. Do I want to discard a card of 7 or higher? I only have 2 aces and a 6, and I'll be damned if he's getting my ace. I'll let him get the LP. Then they make an arrest. So it's a fight. Yeah, we saw duels. We haven't seen a robbery yet. I'll rob somebody soon. But arrest. So he is able to make an arrest because he doesn't have any wanted points. And I do have wanted points. So it's a normal fight. But if I lose, then I lose all my wanted points. I also lose cash. And yeah, of a couple of the items. But anyway, I'm not going to lose. I've got an ace on my sleeve. Now, both Bud and I are using, are getting -2 on our fight values because Clark took my freaking gun. So yeah, I have effectively a 12 right now, and he has an 11. Yes, he is the attacker. He would have won ties. Still good though, so I avoid the arrest. He is going to lose, or yeah, gain a wound. And I avoid being arrested. Okay, that was nice. I'm tired of 3 fights in a row against me. That was not fun. I end a turn. You draw a card. He's now at 6, and now he has a wound, so he can only hold 4 cards. 1, 2. We'll just stick them off the top. A queen and a jack. That is nice. Getting those back into the discard pile, so hopefully I can get those myself later on. Okay, it is now my turn. Move an NPC. I want to get this guy even further away from me. Move him 1 in that direction because I plan to move to the general store. Okay, move to the general store or trading post, and I'm going to take an action. I'm going to make a purchase action. Do I want to rob it? No. I don't want to get rid of my last ace. So I'm going to spend 30 to buy a revolver, getting my fight value back up, which is very nice. I'm also, because I'm flush with cash right now. Let's go on ahead and spend 40 to buy a trap to help me with my hunting. It's a lovely thing. I wish I had more money to buy the bow, because I do like the hides. Well, you know what? I forgot I can sell my hide. And this is all one action, by the way. Just like in the base game, like once you're there, you can do multiple actions of the purchasing and selling. Well, could you sell in the base game? No, you couldn't sell. You can sell the gold nuggets at the bank. That was a separate thing. Here, you can sell the resources, and that includes gold nuggets, hide, or the meat. They're $20 each. For you gold nugget fans who are like, what? The hide and the gold nugget is worth the same? That's at the trading post. For more bonuses on gold, you're going to have to do some more exploration. Anyway, in 20 bucks, and you know what? I am going to buy the bow. No, I don't need the bow. I've got a revolver. Let's keep this in case Clark comes back and robs me again. Okay, but I did take an action at a trading post, and that was my second action, because I moved and then trading post. As you leave the trading post, a stranger approaches you. What would you say to having a new establishment in town soon? I'm planning to open a doctor's office since I am a physician, but I must admit I have a particular passion for cabaret. I'm glad that he's honest. Having such a place would increase the attractiveness of our town. What do you think? Choose between building the cabaret on Space 5 of Emerald Ridge or the doctor's office on Space 2. Place the chosen construction site tile on the corresponding space and gain a card. Let's go ahead and grab that card real quick. Ooh, a check. Um, so, one of your first big decisions in the game is what are you going to build in the town? A doctor's office, great for healing wounds, because right now we don't really have a way of healing wounds besides some whiskey that you can buy to kind of make the pain go away. And it's not cheap either. Well, it's $20 of whiskey. That's $20 per wound. Not easy. So a doctor's office does sound nice, but I am a wanted player and I have a reputation to uphold. So I'm going to build the cabaret. Again, this should be under construction, and it will have the squares on the back and discard our builder action thing. And that was on space 5. So that is going to go right over here, right next to the bandit camp. Boom, boom, boom. Our town potentially growing right now, which is 2 buildings under construction and a tent for a training post. But boom, that goes away. I am really stacking up these story cards, which is amazing. End of turn, draw a card for my law token there, or wanted. Law track is what I meant to say. And then a rest, draw 2, keep 1. Definitely keeping the queen. I need the cards. Oh, I cheated. Let's go back in time just a little bit. So Clark robbed me a second time. I didn't have any items to get rid of the second time, but I forgot to take the wound. Now, a change in stories. At the 3rd wound marker, you get a serious injury. Serious injuries did appear in Blood Money in the original series, and they kind of work similar to that in this game in that it is a card that you add to your board. It has a constant ongoing effect. You can heal. Once you heal up past that, you can get rid of it. Yeah. Or sorry. The doctor's office usually lets you heal serious injuries, or the card will have something on it that says how to heal it. It's not just about healing. I apologize. Going back to old rules. Anyway, what is my serious injury, you ask? Knee injury. Turns out it ain't the lead that's slowing me down. It's the ungraceful way I kiss the ground afterward. Knees stiff as a rusty hinge, but I'll walk it off eventually. Knee injury. Perform one last action during your next turn. Crap. Discard this card at the end of your next turn. There's a slot for injuries on the player board, so that's where it's going to go to remind you of your negatives. Luckily, this one's just for 1 turn. Still not fan. Okay, and let's set up the next day. Get rid of that card. Day 12 to 14. Looks like there's 4 of them. Go away. Oh, that's the round thing. Yeah, so we'll hang on to that there. Day 12 to 14, give them a shuffle. And I'm going to build 2 stacks. Look. Okay. I see we are towards the end of the episode. Wondering how long this recording's been going on. I have no clock, and I'm in a basement. I have no sense of time. It could have been days. Days 12 to 14, move to another player's space or action in a space of Emerald Ridge. So as long as you take an action, that can be location, poker, fight, whatever, build. As long as it's within Emerald Ridge, it activates that. Yeah, one of them's easier. Move to another player's space. Anyway, it is now Eleanor's turn. Eleanor has a fresh deck because she shuffled at the end of her last one. So let's flip that over and see what she's got going on. With the Black Bandit, gray one towards the player closest to the bandit. 1, 2, 1, 2. The player. I'm controlling her. It should say a player other than her. I need to edit that because she wouldn't move it towards her. Eleanor doesn't want to fight bandits. So let's move Clark one space towards me, as much as I hate that. Again, prototype. We're going through, we're cleaning up text in some of these clarifications. The Automata was one of the last things we added to the game. It was, I mean, you kind of had to. You had to build the rest of the game before you figured out how an AI character was going to work within it. So yeah, these guys really came out at the time of printing. I kind of printed the first edition of the Automata. This may have already been fixed. So I apologize for some of the lack of clarity on some of these. Anyway, let's go through the phases. Does she have 3 wounds? No, she does not. Does she have $30? Eleanor's broke. She just had to buy that sieve. Does she have 5 poker cards? Nope, because she has a wound, and it's going to be difficult to get 5 poker cards. So, number 4. If she can buy a sieve, she cannot. This is the same card we had earlier. But now we get to see number 5. She gains 1 skill token and moves to the nearest forest and hunts. So, let's get her skill token. Boom, boom. 2 points for that skill token. Moves to the nearest forest. She can move one or the other. I'm going to push her down here so she's back with the group because we miss her. She's going to hunt. Flip over the top 2. She's got a choice between eagle. Oh, why am I flipping over the top 2? It's an NPC, AJ. Flips over the top 1 and hunts. In this case, it's going to be the crane. Green die +1 to Eleanor's yellow die +3 -1. So, I mean, Eleanor's pretty much got this in the bag. Oh, yeah. The crane got a 4 in total. Eleanor had a, would have gone up to 12 -1, 11. And again, the -1 is from the bow. She just takes a -1 in all of her fights, even hunting. Boom, boom. All right, so she's successful against reward, which is an LP. Great. She has now beat me on the track. And because she has the bow, she also gets a hide token. How you get hide from a bird is beyond me, but she has it. Good job, Eleanor. That's the end of her phase. She's going to draw 1 for her rest. And just, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Going to lose 1. Chooses a savings. Now it's Bud's turn. Hopefully he's not going to come hunt me down again. Move the nearest NPC away from him. Nearest NPC is Juan, who's been chilling at the store. Sad, I wanted to use him on my next turn to get away from this madness. All right, let's go through the phase. Does he have 3 wounds? No. Does he have $30? No. Does he have 5 cards? No. So if there is an under construction location and he has enough cards, which he does, he gains 1 LP, moves to the nearest under construction, which is the saloon, and performs a construction. So he's going to discard 2 of his poker cards. He's going to gain a builder token. And he's going to gain $20. And for the construction token, he gains 2 LP. So he is rocketing up that points. For those points, I am in last place against an automata. And I don't like that. Okay. That was an action within a space of Emerald Ridge. So he flips this over because he is still treated like a player. I know in the past they've largely resolved their cards by the cards are their automa cards flat out saying resolve a story card. But if they do meet the action, it still triggers for them and they would still get the rewards as usual. In any case, yeah. So some people believe they can enjoy the benefits offered by this booming town without contributing to its proper functioning. Let them be mistaken. The hard work of some should not serve to feed the idleness of others. Everyone must assume their share of responsibility. Other players lose an LP. Great, thanks, bud. You were already at the top. Just had to kick us down even further. All right, that's another story card for Bud. All right, back around to me. This hurts because I only have one action this time. What do I want to do? Move to another player's space? Could move to Bud's, but I am wanted, and I'm worried about him arresting me. All right, what we're going to do, because I also want to get away from the bandits. NPC phase at the beginning. I'm going to move Juan towards me. The one action on my turn, I'm going to pay Juan $10. And we are going to move up to Eleanor's space. Can move up to 3 spaces. In this case, it's 2. And again, 1 moves with you as part of his action, and this is written on his card. I'm in Eleanor's space. Let's see what we got going on. Resting near a rock, a bag appears to be abandoned. As you rummage through it, you are suddenly knocked to the ground. Without thinking, you stand up and strike the person closest to you. Gain 2 cards. Ooh. A player of your choice in your space gains 1 card. Well, I've only got the one option. There you go, Eleanor. See, and now she's at 5 cards, so that could trigger her thing at the beginning. But I don't have more LP than her. Then discard 1 card to fight them. In turn, each player may choose to do the same. The last player to discard wins the fight and gains 1 LP. So, I know it says fight them, but this isn't a duel. This is just us discarding cards as a form of fight. Really, this should say brawl, and I'm going to make a note to get in a brawl with them, because this is separate from a fight. It also doesn't have the fight action symbol around it either. Again, text cleanup. Gotta make some of this stuff more clear. And it's nice being able to see this on cards. For so long, I've been looking at cards and they're in spreadsheets, just all the text and everything. It's different seeing cards that way. I'm trying to grok through that information. Anyway, yeah, this is a little bit weird with an automata, as she is just going to respond in kind. So I'm going to discard bedroll. She's going to discard cheetah. I'm going to discard counterattack. She is going to discard this. Oh, yeah, I'm still got crap cards. Sprint. Oh, she's still got 3 cards. Oh, crap. I thought she had less cards. Oh, she's going to discard. I'm going to stop there. I know this is silly. I started that. I should have counted her cards. Well, actually, I'm going to discard Instinct, which allows me to draw a card. Ooh, lovely. She discards. Part of why I want to keep doing this is to make sure she can't fight me on her next turn. We're now in the same space. Well, I mean, at this point, I just kind of want to win. She got rid of the jack. I'll get rid of the shootout. I don't care about it as much. Shootout's good against opponents. Well, my opponents, not so much cards. So I am left with 3 cards. I've won this brawl of sorts. I gain an LP. I'm now tied with Eleanor, and the loser suffers a wound. She's now 2 wounds and takes a serious injury. Loss of conscious. Lose all your money. She had no money. The pain. Well, I'm not going to read that right now. We've been going on for an hour, and I think you guys want me to wrap this up. Okay. I did resolve a story card. That's another bonus from me. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I can only do the one action this turn. End of turn, law, track bonuses, which for me is draw a card. Ooh, stick them up. Lovely card to have. And then draw 2, keep 1. A 3 and an 8. Let's keep the savings, actually. Keep the 3. Savings, as an action, you can gain $30, and that's just very lovely. Anyway, my serious injury goes away because it was just around for the 1 turn. Boom, boom, boom. And now it is Eleanor's turn. Okay. Move the lawman NPC to the wanted player with the most LP. We don't have a lawman, so that one does nothing. Does she have 3 wounds? She has 2 wounds. She's getting there. Might have to fight her again just do that. Then she doesn't have $30. She definitely doesn't have 5 poker cards. I drained her of all of her poker cards. If less than 3 spaces away from an unknown location, she gains a skill token, then moves to the nearest one and explores. She's going to move down there. She's going to get another skill token. Boop. That's 2 LP for her. And she's going to explore. Again, she's going to choose option B. Ooh. On the road, a trail of blood a little further. No, sorry. On the road, a trail of blood. A little further, you hear a moan coming from behind a rock. As you approach, you discover a man close to the end. Apparently, his opponent emptied his cylinder on him. The option Eleanor is choosing is keep him company until his last breath. Discard a card of value 10 to gain 2 LP. She cannot do that. She's hilarious, so she gets nothing. You and your Automata rules have bested you. But you did get, a free skill token, so I'm not happy with that. And yeah, we need to, I believe the updated cards specify which skill tokens, because this random stuff is nonsense. Again, prototypes. What do you do? That's it for Eleanor. Budwego, who's gotten pretty far into his deck. Move the bandit furthest from him in his direction. Whoop! It's 1 space. The bandit moves in and is going to trigger a fight. Now, the bandit is the one triggering the fight. I know this was Bud moving the bandit, but because the bandit moves in and has the lightning action, Clark is going to initiate the fight in this case. Again, that is Clark's red 3 versus Bud's red, just red. He gets no bonus. So, things are not looking good for Bud. I should call out who I'm rolling for first. All right, first, let's roll for Bud, who is going to just get the face value, which is 13. Good job, Bud. Versus Clark, who gets a red +3. 16. That die just rolled 13 3 times in a row. It's a little creepy. So, Clark clearly wins. He is going to give Bud a wound, which gets Bud a serious injury. That's what you get for fighting me earlier, you jerk. Thought I dodged a bullet there for a minute. Turns out this little prick just took its sweet time to lay its eggs. Ain't that a kick in the head? Now I got a twofer, a wound and a fever. Lucky me. Infected wound. Discard 2 cards at the beginning of your next turn. Discard this card after discarding the cards. Not too bad for a serious injury. I don't know. Anyway, Clark would take items, but has no items to give up. He has gold, but he has no items. And the card says items, not resources. So yeah, you lucked out there. Otherwise, you'd have lost your gold, buddy. And he moves to an unoccupied space. We'll just move him 1 space out. Okay. Easy turn for Bud. He didn't gain the LP, unfortunately. Oh. Let's rewind a little bit. I apologize. Eleanor did get 2 LP in a single action. So let's go back to Eleanor's turn. I apologize. So focus on talking to you fine folks. I'm ignoring cards right in front of me. So the action was gain 2 LP in a single action. In every corner of the town, people are talking about you. Whatever your deeds, you're becoming a name, a figure, a character, whose exploits are recounted in smoky saloons. As your fame grows, your legend spreads like wildfire across this wild land. Gain a skill token of your choice. I assume, because I've been grabbing binding tokens, she's going to want that. It's not what I should be doing as the player, controlling everybody, but I'm going to be nice to Eleanor. She gets that. She gets the minor skill token, or skill card, which gives her a bonus whenever she's searching for stones. This is one of my personal favorites because I love mining. Yeah. And this would have gone away. And our last day actually has gained 2 LP in a single action. Now, that sounds a bit hard to do. Really, the best way to get that is get a skill token. Okay. Um, so sorry if the board all of a sudden shifted on you guys. So I found out after wrapping up filming the other day that my camera had died close to the end. I've gone back and watched the footage. I've tried to recreate that last turn, or where we left you guys off. What had happened is Bud had just gotten his injury. We found out that Eleanor had actually resolved this story card here because she had gained a skill token, getting her the 2 LP and putting her just above me on the leaderboard. We had read everything off, and that triggers the next day, which kind of gets us pretty much to the end game because we'll only have one story card left. So again, I apologize if everything suddenly shifted or something's a little bit off. I tried to recreate where we were, but it was a little odd trying to rewind time on the game. Anyway, so please forgive me if there's anything that's clearly off. Yeah, I know some of these poker cards were over there, but that doesn't matter as much. Anyway, so yeah, Eleanor's card was resolved. That means that this goes away. And that was there for Bud. Bud hasn't gotten a chance, or didn't get a chance to do that. He's been doing with Clark this entire time, constantly coming back and beating him up. Poor Clark Benson. Or not poor Clark Benson, poor Bud. Clark just keeps picking on that guy. Anyway, so that brings it around to my turn. I need to get 2 LP to finish off the game. Um, the card I played for this last time I played is no longer in my hand. All right, well, we'll do this another way then. I'm going to go hunting. I'm already in a forest space, as indicated down here. Again, it's a vertices thing, so it's going to be both those or forest, and you can do the hunt. Normally when you hunt, you draw the top 2 cards. I have the lovely legendary skill. And yeah, legendary skills. I don't think I brought this up during this playthrough. This is my 3rd time doing this on the camera because I'm not good at recording. I think I left it off in this one. Legendary skills are our answer for what were the character skills in the first game. So you no longer start off with a skill, automatically inherit to your character. Instead, you build your character with skills. And you can have multiple ones. There's really no limit. Only one will carry over to the next episode, so it's important to remember. We just don't want a huge snowballing effect. I know. You really want to keep this stuff. But you can get all 7 skills if you're crazy. Nobody else stops you, I guess. But yeah, Hunter. What I'm getting back around to is Hunter allows me to draw 3, and whenever I gain a hunting token, I gain an extra LP. So I have a potential, or I have a chance of getting 3 LP from a single action. And my options are the majestic eagle, the wild boar, or the deer. Now, only the eagle and the wild boar will get me the LP, which is what I want, because I want 2 LP in a single turn, and those get me the hunting token. So that would be great. So definitely not going to fight the deer. I could go for the boar. He rolls a red. No bonuses, fortunately, so that means the highest he could get is the 13. I have the queen, which gets me up to a 12, and I have a stick 'em up in my hand. So I could get up to a 14 for sure, and know that I could kick that boar's butt, which gets me some food. Somebody was asking in the game and thankfully reminded us that we accidentally omitted the food rule in the latest version of the rulebook. There's been so many additions and rules have been moved around. Some of them are on cards now, just to make, as you unfold the game, more stuff easier. Why am I talking so much about this stuff? Hopefully you guys like it. This is almost a 3-hour playthrough of what should be a 1-hour scenario. I talk way too much. What I'm checking out right now is a trap. I bought this earlier in the game from the general store. I actually bought this one. I know I robbed the guy at the beginning, but I legitimately bought this trap, so it makes it a little bit more special. But while you're in a forest space, discard this card to reveal an animal card, immediately collect the reward. Um, I could have done that, but it would have been a gamble. So yeah, I'm glad I did the hunt. Let's go for the wild boar. You know, I I have the cards. I can make it happen. Plus, I have the advantage because I am the attacker. So even though it's a red die, I'm feeling pretty good with my queen in hand. So we're going to put that in the little saloon. Look at that. He got an 11. Oh, I'm jumping the gun. I've been talking about playing the queen, but I never actually played it out. Remember, you're supposed to put your cards down before you roll the die. Go ahead and play them face up. The die can't read what you're playing. It's not going to change fate. Or maybe it is. I don't study enough quantum mechanics. Anyway, so we got a 12 versus an 11. Again, the boar has no bonuses, and I have no negatives because I have a revolver. That goes in the discard pile. And the quick draw actually gave me a bonus against NPC, so I was actually swinging at a 13. So yeah, I could have won this period since it was a fight against an NPC and animals are NPCs. Yeah, so increase your fight value by 1. So yeah, that's nice. I got a hunting skill token. Boom. That is 3 LP. Very much needed. 1, 2, 3. I can't count. I am now tied with Bud, who has been climbing up that track unfairly and has infuriated me. Again, we're going to put the boar face up at the bottom. Normally, they would go in a face up discard pile, the ones that you face, because you are going to take those away in between episodes so you don't run into the same animals over and over. If you do manage to get through the entire animal deck, which means that you have a dedicated hunter group, you would reset it eventually, but you would at least get to go through and have a chance to fight everything. The grizzly bears, the eagles, all that nonsense. There's a lot of dangerous stuff. Anyway, I've gained 2 LP thanks to my hunter token. I'm going to flip this over. Following a rise in violent acts, the townspeople have spontaneously gathered. In the evening, anger simmers throughout the town. "It's unbearable," says a woman. "We must protect our children." Another adds, "We need good and courageous men to protect our town." That's when Carl Jones steps forward and asks for silence. "Please listen to me. I have an important announcement. I've just been proclaimed mayor by the influential members of our camp. Therefore, my first action will be to organize the election of a sheriff in the coming days." As applause rises, he adds, "Go home now. You're in good hands." Gain 1 LP. Thank you very much, Carl. Draw a card. It's not the ace that I want, but okay. The episode ends. Each player takes a final turn if necessary so that everyone has completed the same number of turns. So if you're a big board gamer, you've seen this exact thing time and time again. It's a classic. Everybody gets the same number of turns, which is why I've held on to this marker the entire time to signify that I was the first player. That means that both of these characters, Eleanor and Bud, will get one more turn, and then the episode ends. So yeah, last chance, and this is usually when you go out, get as many points as possible. You know, thinking back, I skipped the NPC move phase. Let's not worry about it. My brain's a little frazzled from trying to go back and redo a shoot after a day of work. So I apologize. Anyway, I have one more action on my turn because that was just hunt. And I need more victory points. So what I'm going to do is just hunt again, honestly. I'm not. So the only other thing I can think of. Oh, I didn't collect the meat from that boar. There we go. So what I'm worried about is my wounds, because each wound is minus 1 LP at the end of the game. I'm currently at 2 wounds, and I would like to get rid of some of those. And food is something you can discard, and it's a free thing you can do on your turn. Just however much food you have, discard it to heal a wound. So that gets me up by 1. which is nice. Now I'm only at -1 LP. And let's go hunting again. You know, I'm here. So what I should have done with the NPC turn is I should have moved half pint up to me. I would have then drawn 4 cards for the hunt because +1, it's 2, +1 for my hunter skill token, plus an additional 1 for having half pint on my space because that's his ability. And you can just roll a yellow die, which is fantastic if you're low on cards. Oh, my goodness. These are some nasty creatures. So we got the elk, which is the friendliest, a yellow one, yellow +1. The grizzly bear, which is a black +2. I want to say this is the most difficult fight in the game in the animal deck. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Don't quote me on that. If there's something else that I just forgot that we put in there, like a yeti or whatever. The rattlesnake. Ugh, this guy. The first time I ever sat down and played the prototype, second episode, the rattlesnake killed my mount when I was up in the woods. Not these woods. It's on another player board. But anyway, I was far away from the store. My mount was killed, and it took so long to get back to town while my opponent was just running around with his mount, just having a great time. It really sucks losing your mount, and I told the designer, like, this is stupid. Why should you lose your mount that easily? He's like, well, tough luck. It's staying in the game. And I agree with him. It had some danger. I was just really salty at the time. Yeah. Oh, and the grizzly bear can kill your mount too. You just need to discard a card of 10 or higher. Let's go on ahead and do that. I'm going to discard reputation. Yeah, so, sorry, I'm doing this out of order. I'm going to fight the grizzly because I'm on camera and not making right decisions, but more just fun ones. I want to see how this rolls out. I'm going to discard reputation, so that's my 10, so that my mount doesn't die. So Rita cannot be stolen from you. She can be killed. You know, grizzly, rattlesnake, stolen from you is different from being killed by other sources, largely just these things on the web. So hunting is a bit dangerous. We've mostly seen greens and yellows, largely greens in this playthrough. So seeing the black die actually get used is exciting. And this did not happen when I was filming the other day, the ending. So it's a little bit exciting. All right, he's going to roll black +2. I'm going to play a bulletproof. So I'm at an 11. And just so you know, this dice goes... Oh my gosh, it starts at 12. I thought it started at 11. I should not have chosen this. All right, I'm in it. Whatever. The reason I chose 11 is... I had to stick them up, which increases by 2. I thought I could get up and cover most of the die, but 14 screws me. Okay. Yeah, my hunting thing doesn't give me any bonus. I made poor decisions to please my fans, and that was stupid. All right, so I lost my bulletproof. And the failure... Oh, I should have kept that. So the failure for the grizzly bear is actually pretty minimal. It's a 1. Maybe that needs to be higher, like getting a serious injury or something too. Which could be fun changing the animal deck. This is a fun thing about development. You can make last minute changes. But anyway, I gain a wound. So, fun thing that just happened. I was at 2 wounds, which is right when you get the serious injury. I healed 1, as you saw earlier, thanks to that meat that that raw meat I just devoured. Putting me back up to only 1 wound. And now I've gained another one, which puts me back at the serious injury mark. So now I'm drawing a serious injury because I couldn't leave it alone. If I had just stayed, I would have, should have waited until the end of my turn. I would have had to deal with this leg injury. When you take a move action, reduce the amount you move by 1 to a minimum of 1. Discard this card after healing. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. That's a great way to come back and wrap up filming. Okay, Eleanor's, or sorry, end of round. I draw a card for my law track bonus. The Queen. Queen would have given me a 13 plus 1. Yeah, where were you just 5 seconds ago? And then my rest. Draw 2, keep 1. So definitely keeping the king. Keep that out of somebody else's hand. Okay, now we're at Eleanor's turn. So let's flip over her card. Move the black bandit or the gray one towards the player closest to the bandit. So Clark, once again, is going to beat up on poor Bud. Let's hope that it goes better this time for him. Okay. Yeah, what am I doing? So Bud still doesn't have a weapon. So he is at just flat red. He would normally get a 2 or a +2, but it's -2 because there's no weapon. So just a flat red. And Clark is at red +3. Let's roll for Clark first. So red +3 is going to give us 13. Bud has a chance. Come on, Bud. 11. Oh, Bud. So yeah, there was a 13 on the dice. But, oh boy. Well, actually a 13 still would have been in the bandit's favor. So that gives Bud, oh, I forgot to rewind his stuff. That puts him at the 5th space of his injury. If he gets one more injury, he's dead. And we can go over legacy rules if that happens. As tradition, he would steal items. Bud has nothing that can be stolen at this point. Because Mark just keeps beating the crap out of this guy. And then he moves to an unoccupied space. The bandit does. Right? The bandit? I hope I haven't been explaining that. You may move to an unoccupied nearest unoccupied space. Wow. I think I was doing that wrong during the rest of the filming. I was moving the bandit. That's what I get for, yeah. I mean, to be fair, this printing quality on my printer's quality isn't the best, and this is faded, so faded, and I need glasses. Anyway, so Eleanor, Bud fight again didn't go very well. All right, let's go through the NPC phases. So I realized this in my last recording during the part that is now lost forever. I was doing the Automata part wrong. I'm going to blame it on not having a Red Bull right before the shoot. So my God, I don't want to be jittery on camera. And I skipped right over an important part. Let's find that together. So first, wound. Eleanor, does she have 3 wounds? No, she has 2 wounds. So she completely ignores that top bar. And again, it's 3 wounds and enough money or equivalent resources to heal. And there it is, or equivalent resources. I was just reading the bold text and not the part in parentheses. That matters for the next one. Money and resources. If the automaton has at least $30 in money and or equivalent resources. Forgot that during the playthrough. Because look at the resources these people have, and they have done nothing with them. Eleanor especially. So, we're going to see that. We're going to see that on both these characters because I played them stupidly. And this matters not just because they're going to get equipment that they've sorely needed, but also it helps them heal the wound part because they need, they need whiskey and stuff to be able to heal. Whiskey right now because we don't have a doctor's office. Oh, I forgot to flip these over. Yeah, those are revealed at the end. Ooh, secret. But okay, so if the automaton has at least $30 in money and or equivalent resources, yes, and can buy one of the following items. A weapon, the most expensive one, it doesn't already have. A satchel or a holster, it heals an injury, gains 2 LP, and draws a card. Then moves to the nearest trade place to sell its resources and buy one of the items. Okay, and again, that's one of the items. And this will be cleaned up in the text. This is, a little bit of an earlier phrase. But anyway, so she has the equivalent resources. We're going to move her there. So, to be clear with the automaton characters, it says move. The character, we need to use a different word there. They go to wherever place it tells you to send them. They are not bound necessarily by the one movement space rule or whatever your movement action thing is with the mount, whatever. Whenever they say go to a space for this to happen, automatically put them there. You don't move them however many spaces they could move towards there. You just pick them up. Like, let's say there was someone that said, move her to the furthest reaches of the board, right there. It's not one space in that direction. I hope that makes sense. And I was confused about that my first like 2 times playing. We always move them, their movement value towards whatever the goal was, but they didn't always make it. Anyway, sell the resources and buy one of the items. She's going to sell her many, many resources. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. Gosh dang, Eleanor, you are doing great. It says sell all the resources, so I'm getting rid of all of them. I mean, if I were playing as her, I would keep that meat as a healing thing. I put these in the bag. I should have let them out. I'm tired. It's 10 o'clock when I'm doing this shoot. Yeah, heals the injury. Gains 2 LP. Boop, boop. Draws a card. Last card, so we'll shuffle up the remaining ones. And buys one of the items in that order. So for her, that is going to be the revolver. And I will give her 90. She was getting 120. Revolver was 30. So she gets 90. More importantly, the other stuff on the list, she was not able to get the holster, the bandolier, stuff like that, because we only have trading post items available at the moment. More stuff becomes available once the general store is unlocked. Right now, it's just the trading post, which is a tiny little store. Also, again, I'm using the full general store. There should be a smaller one, the trading post, in the final edition. The box gets crowded. Anyway, that was it for her. Gain the LP, do that. We don't go through the rest of her stuff. We do go through her end of turn phase, which is for her, draw a card. Normally I would do a riffle shuffle with poker cards, but these are prototypes, and I just don't want to risk bending them, especially since I got to send this stuff on to another reviewer after me. Ooh, okay. And she gets a 7. Very nice. Good job, Eleanor. Okay, you're at the 3. All right, Bud, you are barely hanging on to life. Let's see what you get. Bud, you've chosen death. Move the bandit closest to him in his direction. Oh, Bud. Why do you have to fight the bandits? It's not good. All right, so if Bud loses here, he is going to die, which is nice because then I can show you the legacy element to the game. So your character can die in this game, unlike the original one. Let's roll for Clark first. Again, Clark gets red plus 3. 13, that's 16. There's no way for Bud to beat a 16. It's just not possible. He gets an 11. Oh, Bud. All right, so his thing moves there. He is now dead. What happens is you draw the top card off the Legacy deck. I know it's a Succession here. The final English edition will be Legacy. And this tells you what is going to happen. So your character will die. You, the player, will go on, just like the heart. But so you will continue to play the game, but you're going to lose quite a bit of stuff, LP, and other things. And it's all written on the card. So let's go through that together now. And these are all different. So that's why there's a deck of them. In this case, we drew R.I.P. My Beloved. The love of your life is no more. Your immense sorrow has driven you to this hostile land to pay your last respects. So this is who we are now. We are Bud's beloved, I guess. I don't know who Bud loved. It seemed like him and Clark had a thing. It was an abusive relationship, but they couldn't stay away from each other. Place the grave token of your color where your figure is, end your turn immediately, and lose 5 LP. Um, the grave tokens still need to be made, and I definitely don't have them in this print. We're just going to put that down as the grave marker, right where we died. Move my character off the board. Not my character, Bud's character. Lose 5 LP. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm so sorry, my friend. Put all your items, resources, weapons into your color-coded bag. So, great time to show off the color-coded bag. Look at those. Those are in the deluxe edition only. Retail edition will get plastic baggies for your saving. But you deluxe people, you get this. Look at that. Oh, it's so gorgeous. Put all your items, but had no items. This poor guy. Clark took it all. Your items, resources. Okay. And weapons. He had no weapon. Into your color-coded bag. On your next turn, you would heal all your wounds, choose a new name for yourself, and then gain $5. Or draw 5 and then keep 3. Play your turn as usual, starting from space 4. You may visit the grave to retrieve all your personal belongings. So you could go grave rob yourself and get all your stuff back. And again, that's just with this particular card. The different legacy cards have different ways that the death will play out. And it's very interesting. Some of these are French. Why do I have French cards? I forgot to take them out. Like, yeah, one of them, business partner, best friend, you're left for dead, and you can be revived. It's really cool stuff. I love this mechanic. It was a great addition to the game. Just adding some spiciness to what's going on with wounds. Because, yeah, in the original one, you could just, like, you couldn't go past 5, so people just keep shooting you, and it didn't matter. So poor Bud, this was the last turn of the game, and he's just dead. Gets no last turn. So that brings it to a little bit more of an abrupt end. All right, so now we've played out all the turns. So we're going to do our end of game scoring. I'm pulling up the list because I don't have this quite memorized. But yeah, the players who participated in the most story cards gained an LP. That was definitely me. We don't even need a count. I've got like 6 to 2 to 2. So that's 1 LP. Take that, robots. If you are the most wanted or the best marshal, I'm the only wanted or marshal, but I gained an LP. If Bud was on the marshal track, he would have gained an LP because Eleanor was never going to get on there. She stays neutral the entire game. If you have cards that give you LP at the end of the game, such as Tamed Mounts, for me, I've got Rita coming in clutch, giving me that 1 LP. I'm glad I traded that guy some magic beans or whatever I gave him. It was an item. Oh, yeah, I gave him my sieve. Eleanor doesn't have an LP item, neither does Bud. So just like the base game, this largely comes from tamed mounts, or upgraded mounts is what we originally called them. Upgraded weapons, only a couple weapons can be upgraded, largely revolvers, and then there are specialty weapons, and a lot of uniques will also have LP. And you just get those later on in the game, episode 2 largely, and on. If you have skill tokens, gain 1 LP for every set of 3. I only have a set of 2. Eleanor, though, gets an LP from her 3 minor. Bud doesn't have anything. He was too busy being shot by Clark time and time again. If you have money, gain 1 LP for every $60 increment. I've only got 20. Eleanor's got 90, so she's going to get an LP. And Bud had $20, which actually was supposed to go in the bag. So actually, Bud has nothing. And I'll take that from you too. And if you're the player with the most combined resources, gain 1 LP. Nobody has resources. Eleanor traded hers in. Bud lost his when he died. And I ate my last resource. Okay, so nobody has that. And then minus 1 LP for each wound you have. So I'm going to lose 2. Boom. Eleanor is going to lose 2. Bud is dead. We're just going to say that he has 0 because he was supposed to heal on his next turn. We need to write that a little bit clearer, though. make sure that. Yeah. Anyway, so we now know who the winner of episode 1 is. And that is going to be me. Why does that matter? Excellent question, camera. So we'll see here in just a second. And I'm sorry, before end of game scoring. So end of the game. So this is our end of episode card, and it is going to walk us through the end of the game. I actually jumped the gun a little bit by doing that end of game scoring. I mean, that is step 1, but I should have shown you guys the card first. So this says what you're going to do at the end of each episode. They largely follow the same pattern, with just the rewards and stuff being a little bit different, and it calls them out on these cards. But make sure you follow them each time. Same with the setup cards. It'll largely be the same setup. Some stuff will change. You need to pay attention to those changes. So just make sure you're going through this list periodically while setting up or tearing down. The player who won gains secret card 35. I already have this set to the side. Secret card 35, because again, I had recorded all this earlier. And for me, it is a special revolver called Thunder. During a fight, you win all ties. Boom! Love it. Golden pistol. Goes great with my ass. My Rita. If players who do not have a weapon gain 1 bow, somehow, even though he is a corpse, Button is getting a bow. I just like to imagine they're burying him, and somebody's like, a cowboy should always, be buried with something in their hands, and just kind of puts a bow in his hand. Something. Poor Bud. If buildings were still under construction, they are now completed. So, boom, we've got the saloon, we've got the cabaret. That's all a town really needs. And you put the corresponding places cards into the notebook. So again, this notebook is amazing for cataloging and keeping all your stuff organized, because otherwise you just got to keep them in a separate pile and put them in a little plastic baggie in between games. But the notebook allows you to store all this. The final one will have a section for places, personalities, and miscellaneous, so that you can, again, hand it off to other players and be like, hey, here's all your location actions. Kind of becomes a player aid of sorts, because there's so many locations that get added in. And this makes sorting through all of them much faster. Keep yourself organized. So we added the 2 new ones there. So in Cabaret, let's go through them real quick. So the saloon, play poker. Poker is now back on the menu, boys. When you go there, and this costs an action, you perform a rest, so you get to draw some cards. And then players in the region, so kind of similar to the original game where you had to be in the town playing the poker. Now it's within the region, so if we started here, anybody in Emerald Ridge could play. And everybody who does automatically draws a card. And then you do our very simplified version of Texas Hold'em. 3 cards come out on the river. You all play 2 cards from your hand to make the best 5-card hand. And somebody will be the dealer if not enough players are playing. And then there's the Cabaret. Again, this is reminiscent of the base game, where you can go and view a show. For $30, you just get a flat-out LP. For $60, though, you get a Reveler token, which is automatically 2 LP. And the token itself, 1, helps you with the in-game scoring, as we just saw. And there is a Reveler skill, a legendary skill. So if you like to go to those kind of shows, hey, you can be certified as a professional Reveler and get bonuses for it, which is awesome. And keep that skill. Go home, show it to mom. I'm sure she'll be proud. Anyway, where's my end of game card? So we added the places. If the personalities Half Pint and Old Joe were in the expiration notebook, remove them and their tokens. Don't worry, those guys are going to come back. It's just you have to find them. So a lot of the personalities will have ongoing stories throughout the episodes, and you will draw different cards depending on where you're at in their storyline and which episode it is. That's why there's like 5 to 6 cards for each of the personalities. It's not that there's different ones, different characters. It's just that their story will grow. and you need to follow up with them in between. It also makes going back and replaying very important because you get to see different conclusions to their stories depending on what choices you make. Save your player boards by following the instructions in the game aid. Really, it's bagging up all your stuff, the items. You get the top row 3 for free, so you always keep those. The bottom ones, you have to have like a locked bag or a mount that says that you can keep those items, but you could lose some of your inventory in between rounds. So keep that in mind. Look out for unique items. Allow you to keep more stuff. It's very useful. You also get to keep a certain amount of skill tokens. I believe it's 2 skill tokens and 1 legendary skill. So even if you had multiple skills, only 1 is going to carry over to the next game. So keep that in mind. Choose which one's the best for you or will be hardest to regain. That also affect which skill tokens you want to keep. Write down or take a photo of the score track for the next game. So the score track is going to be resetting, but you do want to keep track of like who is winning each episode, which is why you're taking a picture of that. Place the animal, bandits, and explorers encountered in the episode under their respective decks, and this will be face up, so that you don't encounter the same ones again, and you'll reshuffle. Put the whole game away. Well, that last part's optional if you're going straight into the next episode. But if you're like me, you turn a 1-hour session into a 3-hour session, it's probably best to put up the game for the night and continue the next day or another day with your group. Anyway, that's Western Legend Stories. Again, I apologize if there was a sharp cut in between that last part there. I just I can't plug in my camera or my phone while it's recording, so it died after me talking for almost 3 hours. I hope that was a good overview of the game, showed how the automata work. Quick note about the automata. I know that we had a lot of misses with some of their abilities working as far as like beginning of the round. That really only happens in episode 1. Episodes 2 and beyond, a lot of conditions that they're asking for are already met, and you use these decks in the future scenarios or episodes. So you're not going to really run into that beyond the first episode, and we didn't want them moving around and making stuff too complicated at the beginning. So it makes it a little bit easier to grok and get through. Another note, again, I ran the automata a little bit wrong there because I was not selling the resources. I was just looking at the cold hard cash, which affected some of their healing. Bud may not have died if I had read parentheses. So remember, that stuff's important to read. That's the end of episode 1. This is the shortest of the episodes. And I'm sure it goes a lot better if you don't have somebody rambling away into a microphone for hours at a time in his basement. I'm not sure that the air quality down here is safe because I'm losing my mind. Anyway, thank you all so much for listening. Please post on the forums, BGG, or on the campaign if you have any questions. As of recording this, we're making a lot of big announcements tomorrow. Tuesday. Hopefully I'll have the video uploaded as part of tomorrow's announcement as well. Let us know if you guys have any questions, want to see some more content. The prototype is going on to another reviewer, so I won't be able to shoot anything for a while myself, unless I use TTS, but our tabletop simulator. I don't like showing the stuff in there. It's just not as clean. It's a great way to test out the game and make sure you like it, but having the real components, that's where it's at. All right. You guys have a great one and enjoy the rest of your day or evening or work day, depending on where you're watching this. Bye.